I have been so stuck because PwC was so good to me that I literally felt like I was betraying it if I wanted better for myself. Ain't that some twisted stuff? What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Jenny with another video. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie. I really want to say Happy New Year, but this new year had your girl in a chokehold. I had been sick since the Wednesday before the new year. Like, I'm talking the flu, being downtrodden, just broken in pieces, y'all. Lost 6 pounds in 5 days. It was a lot. It was a lot. The flu almost took me out, okay? But your girl survived it, and here we are. Happy New Year, right? Happy New Year. I hope you guys are starting off this new year on a good foot. If it's any indication on LinkedIn how you guys are starting your new year, I think it's perfectly good. So with that in mind, this video that I want to get into today is a video that I promised you guys this week. When I announced that I was leaving PwC after 8 years, my DMs blew up. You guys were literally so congratulatory. You guys were just rooting for me, like just happiness radiating through. Again, as I told you guys, it wasn't an easy road. It wasn't a road that was just like, yeah, I manifested and I closed my eyes and all of a sudden, like, I had a new job. No, wasn't like that. Before we get started, if you are new here, thank you for visiting and thank you for watching. This is my little corner of the internet where I talk anything fashion, lifestyle, travel, and here and there I sprinkle how I'm juggling life as a mom, a wife, and a career woman. And this is the part of this video, right? Being a career woman. So with that in mind, let's get this video started. So as I mentioned before, I made the announcement on via story that I resigned from my job, and y'all, you guys were just like apparently silently rooting for me. Like the happiness that went through my DMs, like you guys were the real MVPs, and it really made me feel like I made a great choice. Not only by leaving, but just like, wow, people are really watching like how you're navigating life, not only as a career woman, but just like as a mom, like how are you making these decisions? And so I want to get started on that. I don't really have a specific flow to this conversation, rant, whatever you want to call it, but I just would like to talk to you guys honestly and be truthful about the ups and downs and the frustrations of my job search. So with that in mind, I started my job search October of 2020. I had just given birth to Zev, and Uncle Cooper had done some things that didn't please me, to be honest with you, right before I left for maternity leave. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm done. I'm through. I reached out to my network and started looking, started seeking. And lo and behold, like, my network responded, which is great. Like, you always want to do that. And again, I have a video that I have not posted yet about, you know, the importance of just really networking and things like that. So anyway, so reached out to my network, started applying, started getting referrals, but my target was the FANG. So for those of you who don't know a little bit of background about me, I work at PwC, or I worked at PwC for 8 years and some odd months. I basically, this looks weird. I worked at PwC for 8 years. Started out in your typical management consultant arm, advisory, and then I moved to the arm of PwC that is now called products and technology, which, so about 6 years ago I made the move, not knowing that the importance of products or technology would play into my career, right? I raised my hand, I took a chance, and here I am. Like, the chance paid off. So with that in mind, I basically said, I basically said, okay, like I was a part of PwC that was dealing with internal developing products, being exposed. It was like a little tech startup within PwC, and not a little, but a tech startup within PwC. So anyway, with that in mind, I basically was really thriving, and really liked it because it allowed me to play different roles. Like, I was interested in product. I got to play around product management. I got to play around with that. I was interested in customer success. I got to play around with that. I wore so many hats in the last 6 years that it was just like, wow, Uncle Cooper, like, this is it. Like, I ain't never gonna leave. Girl, and mistake number one. So I started my job search. Like I said, I was only focusing on the things, and by the things, I mean Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. But in my case, I was really focused on Facebook, which is literally my top places that I want to work. It's a goal and that I would like to reach. So Facebook, Amazon, and Google were my top, were the things that were responding to me. And so my very first job interview in 8 years, y'all, 8 whole years, was with Amazon. Got the interview. I had never interviewed before, so the landscape had totally changed. I didn't know what I was walking into. And then I walked into this interview. Y'all, I was so clueless. If you've ever interviewed for Amazon, they are very methodical in the way they want you to answer. It's like, you need to use the STAR method, this and then the other. I was clueless to all of that, to any of that. And it was just like, and I'm sure she could see me, right? I'm sure she could be like, sis, you ain't ready. So anyway, with that, interviewed with HR, and then HR brought me to the hiring manager, and that's where the buck stopped for me. The hiring manager didn't propel me to the next step, which is like your power day, where you have like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 million interviews. Anyway, so with that in mind, I was like, okay, pick your head back up. As I started studying more, as I started applying more, I started gaining confidence. End of December rolls around, Facebook reaches out. Stop playing. That's literally where I want to work. And y'all, I was very prepared for the Facebook interview. Like I said, the landscape had changed. Like, she was like, hey, let me know if you're talking to anybody else. Mind you, 8 years ago when I interviewed, you are not allowed to tell a recruiter who else you're interviewing with. But then she was like, it's okay. Like, this is how it is now. Like, you actually tell recruiters who you... Anyway, long story short, got to Facebook, and the recruiter, as I'm talking to her, literally stops me in my track and is like, listen, I don't think this position is for you. But I'm going to keep, because I like, she's like, your energy is just so like vibrant and vivacious. Like, I would do a disservice, like putting you in this position. I was just like, wow, like, thanks. That's very nice of you. Long story short, again, it's going to be a lot of long story short. We kept in contact, and I saw a position that I wanted. I reached out to her. I was like, hey, these are the top 3 positions that I've seen so far. This was like January now. And she's like, okay, she refers me. Lo and behold, another recruiter reaches out, and I'm in, y'all. I'm like, oh, I'm so in. Oh my God, I'm so in. Y'all, went through the conversation with the recruiter, bypassed the manager, the hiring manager interview, got to like Power Day at Facebook. Your girl was on a roll, okay? And this position would have put me like right there with Mark Zuckerberg, okay? It would have been Mark and then me. It's like, it's not a C-suite position or anything like that, but I would have, because it's privacy, and obviously privacy is a huge concern for Facebook, it would have been like, whatever. So again, I get to the interview, go through the process, which was literally one of the best interview processes that I've ever been to or in. And the recruiter calls as I'm waiting for an answer. The recruiter calls, and she's basically like, you got to the last level, where apparently somebody was supposed to decide on me unbiasedly, not anybody that interviewed me. If you are familiar with the Facebook recruiting thing, procedure, process, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So apparently the group or the committee that was supposed to put together my offer package reviewed the reviewed the I guess feedback. I don't, to be honest with you, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. Like, reviewed the feedback and was like, we'll pass. Y'all, I was broken. I was so depressed, y'all. I can't even tell you how depressed I was. And to think, and when I'm talking to my amazing recruiter, she was just like, yeah, out of everybody that we interviewed, you were the only one that made it to, I forgot what she calls it. It's a committee, but it's the end of the road where literally they're supposed to put your offer package together. And apparently when you get to that, everybody has to agree on you. If one person disagrees or is like on the fence, like your whole thing gets shut down. So I was just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, I've gotten this close. I was like, you know what? The Lord has a reason. We're going to keep knocking. In the meantime, mind you guys, I'm interviewing like LinkedIn. I'm interviewing at Adobe. I'm interviewing everywhere. You name it, I am interviewing there. And this was like from January till April. No, January till June. What am I saying? Oh, I have so many stories. It was tough. Y'all, I'm not going to sit here and like, it was tough. But I think one of the biggest mistakes I made was really sticking to the things. January, February timeframe, I started opening up a little bit more, like other tech companies like IBM, like Microsoft, like LinkedIn and things like that. But I was so focused from October to like January, like it's the fangs or die, it's Facebook or die, which I think is very limiting, to be honest with you guys. And I think that's one of the mistakes that I made. And I don't think you should make that, is limiting yourself to where you end up. For me, it was like, I want to experience, like I want to be at the, like my main mission was to be at the fangs. I wasn't looking at the broader picture. Like, I want to be somewhere where I'm learning, where I'm growing, where I'm, you know, advancing, where I'm getting paid. Okay? Now in retrospect, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me right now? Like, so I believe because I was so stuck on the things, I lost a lot of opportunities. I lost a lot. And my husband would talk to me about that. My husband was like, expand your horizon. The things are not the only thing in existence. But nah, your good sis did not want to listen, okay? Your good sis said, nah. So anyway, y'all, I was still knocking on Facebook's door. I was still like, oh my God, you know, I want to end up at, you know, the fame. Anyway, long story short, y'all, I started interviewing elsewhere. I cut it close to a lot of interviews, got some offers. It just, and I knew in my heart of heart, it wasn't like the right fit. So I was just like, you know what, let's not even push it now. Because, you know, when the Lord is leading you somewhere, you follow. So I really just started trusting God. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And the second thing that I did was I started not only expanding where I'm applying, I also narrowed the positions that I wanted to apply for. So by background, I'm a program manager. I've been a program manager forever now. And like I said, the last 6 years have given me an opportunity to wear many hats, such as customer success, such as operations lead, such as product manager. So I've held many hats, and that is the beauty in what really helped me to narrow down the scope of my search. So not only did I expand where I was looking, I think you should also narrow down, because if you're looking for positions, you will find them a dime a dozen, okay? Knowing exactly what you want to do, what's going to bring you fulfillment, what's going to bring you challenge, what's going to bring you joy. Maybe not joy, because Lord knows nobody's joyous to go into the office. Like, no. But I think for me, one of the key things was you applying to everything and anything because it's out of fame. What you need to do is expand where you're applying and narrow down what you want to do so that you can actually find fulfillment, so that you can actually feel like you're making a difference. So that was that. And once I did that, everything changed for me. Literally everything changed, y'all. I was just like, I was just, now I became a pro at interviewing. I was no longer sweating my life away. I was just like, things started opening up because again, my pool started opening up. And so with that in mind, I was like, you know what? Now that I'm seeing traction, like, sign me up because this is where I want to be. Okay? Saw traction. Facebook knocked again on my door without me knocking back this time, y'all. And started interviewing for a position while I was like doing multiple other things. Interviewing multiple other places. And so with that, I was just like, oh my God, like this is what I needed this whole time. But I was just so stuck in my ways, whatever. So with that in mind, y'all. So with that in mind, I started getting leads. I got leads for the positions that I was applying to, and I shifted my focus from, I was only focusing now on, I didn't want to do customer success anymore. I wanted to do ops. So my position shifted from program managers, manager positions in any industry to product manager. And so I had gotten my product manager certification. So I'm pretty confident. And again, like I said, I had been exposed to product. So with that in mind, I started picking and choosing. I was like, do I want to put energy towards this? Maybe not. Amazon reached out again. And this time I made it past the hiring manager, and I made it to Power Day. And it was just like, okay, like I can do this. Like I know I'm confident in doing this. And with Amazon, I learned later through a friend that only one person did not agree with bringing me on. Hence the reason why I didn't get an offer. But again, it's okay for things not to work out. I don't mind sharing you guys the failures. Like, listen, I had more than 20 plus interviews. I probably got far into like 4 of them. No, that's a lie. 6 of them. So LinkedIn, Amazon, Facebook. And actually more than 6. But anyway, my point is like the majority I did not get. But guess what? I still put myself out there. And I think that's the other thing. You cannot be afraid to put yourself out there. For me, I think one of the things that held me back the most is the fact that I was so stuck on like PwC or die because they've been so good to me. Loyalty. But then I realized in the end, like I'm really being screwed. Does that make sense? So it's like, and not even I'm being screwed, forget being screwed, but I realized in the end, like I'm doing myself a disservice by not wanting to expose myself to bigger and better. Or maybe not bigger, or to different, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, they're like family. I'm so used to them. It's like, no, you gotta do, at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you. And I think that's, especially as Black women, like if you guys follow me on Instagram, a lot of the things that I'm preaching about when it comes to corporate America, I'm also preaching to myself. I'm calling myself out because I have been so stuck because PwC was so good to me that I literally felt like I was betraying it if I wanted better for myself. Ain't that some twisted stuff? Like in my normal regular life, I don't feel like that. But in the PwC life, like in my work life, because this was like the very first place that I worked where I felt at home, where I felt comfortable, I literally felt like I owed my whole career and like everything I am career-wise to PwC. And in part, that's true. But in another part, I put in a lot of work and it needs to be recognized. You put in a lot of work, you should give yourself the option to see what's out there for you. Does that make sense? I hope it did, y'all. Seriously, I hope it did. So with that in mind, I started seeking better. I started seeking what really that I'm at, what is it that I'm really after. And like I said, doors started opening. I got the opportunity to work it's so funny because I think one of the second key point that I want to make is the importance of networking. The importance of talking. A lot of people, again, I'm not saying be a blabbermouth and trust everybody and anybody, but you have to have that small group at work that you feel comfortable talking to, that you guys are sharing things and dreams and hopes and stuff like that. For me, it's true. I had a girlfriend and another, who I call my work husband, another guy that I call my work husband. going through the process of interviewing, they would literally keep encouraging me. And they'd be like, dude, I'm gonna keep my eyes out for you. This position that I'm going to leaving PwC, it was through that girlfriend that was like, hey, yo, I saw something on LinkedIn that I feel like you might be interested in. Yeah, send it my way. She makes an introduction, and as they say, the rest is history. And so for me, it's people thinking about me, saying my names in rooms that I'm not in. That's how I got these opportunities. Does that make sense? So again, I'm not saying go blab all your plans to everybody and anybody. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, you need to have a group of people in and out of work that you trust that will keep their eyes peeled for you. Does that make sense? I hope it did. I don't think I'm going to finish this video. I got what I needed. I'm leaving PwC for something, I'm not going to say it's better, but for something that's more aligned with what I want to do. For something that is exposing me to a lot of things that I've not been exposed to. And I think that's enough for now. Like, that's literally what I'm seeking for now. So anyway, I'm really excited to be leaving. And I think some of those pitfalls that I talk about are very real. And I think you guys should take that into consideration when seeking a job. Just be open, expand the location where you're seeking, and narrow down what you're seeking. Does that make sense? It's not rocket science, y'all. Like, I promise you, this is not like, oh my God, I just dropped a hot fire gospel. No, this is just common sense that took me a while to learn, right? Common sense is not so common. Okay, so with that in mind, I hope this was helpful. Like I said, it didn't become easy after 12 plus months, after a year and a half of seeking. I finally got an open door. I finally got a yes into a place where I actually wanted to be, or I actually want to be. And so for me, I think that's very key, y'all. Don't just jump because that's the thing to do. Jump very strategically into whatever it is wherever it is that you see your career going. And I think that's the most important thing. That makes sense. But there's a lot of pitfalls, y'all. There's a lot of things that's not going to work out. And I want you to keep that in mind. Like, that doesn't mean you suck. It just didn't work out. And so with that in mind, I hope this little rant helped. I will see you in the next video. Au revoir.